Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Police Off the Cuff After Hours. My name is Mark Demayo. I'm your host. Sitting in with me tonight is a return customer. He's I don't know why you come back for the punishment, but he's a retired NYPD first grade detective. He's also a frequent contributor on Fox News, and we're excited to have him back, especially tonight because we have some breaking news. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's just say hello to Bill Ryan. What's up, Bill?
Hello, Mark. Everybody out there in the Off the Cuff family. Great to see everybody. Happy holidays.
Yeah, it's really good to see you, man. I'm happy to see you. I like you a lot. Let's say hello
Yeah.
before we give the breaking news. Boxing MMA 365 is in the house. Hi, single mom of four. She says hello to Ryan Investigative Group. Let's see.
My single mom. I box in
Let's see.
MMA.
Let me see. Yankee fan for life. I'm sorry about that, Yankee fan. I'm a Met fan for life. So, but thanks for tuning in anyway. Oh yeah, Yankee fan for life. Did you hear that the Mets got Max Scherzer and Marte? All
Did
right.
you ever think the Mets would be the ones spending money?
Well, this guy Cohen, he's got big pockets, man. So
Well,
things
all
are.
these guys have big pockets and they don't spend it. I mean, I'm happy to see they're actually spending some money here.
Yeah. Well, the last owners the Mets had, the Wilpons, they were involved with Madoff, so they their money got a little tied up at the time.
Yeah.
Chris Davis, dang it, I'd love to watch if I could. Turn on the closed caption. Okay, good. Complicated. Hello from Tennessee. Oh, I got a story for you tonight. Something really cool I'm going to show you, Bill. You might have seen it already, but we'll talk about that. It happened in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee. Diane Fields, hello. She says hello, everyone. Alicia B. Sandy Ridgway, MC Audio, the man who helped me start my Bomb
MC
Squad
Audio.
miniseries. For those of you, Bill asked me earlier if Mike Cologne was going to sit in, and I said no. Unfortunately, he's on hiatus right now. He's taking a month off. From what? I don't know. He does one thing in his life. He has a freaking podcast he does once a week, but he needs he needs a break. So enjoy your rest. Rest up.
Hey, Mike.
Rest up. You 21-year-old that needs a break.
The
Jitterbug.
Prodigy.
Yeah, Mike the Prodigy. Good evening, everyone, says Jitterbug. Ruth Ann Griffin. Hi, Mark. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Xiao Matang. Hello, everyone. Maria Green. Yankee fan for another Yankee fan. All right, we're getting bombarded here. SCC, hello. All first, let Emma MW say thank you to your service. Thank you. We appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I would like to ask if you could please answer. Yeah, you could ask any question. As the show goes along, I'm going to come back to you, and we'll get at that question. Oh, are you guys familiar with Leap Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, founded by retired New Jersey trooper Jack Cole? I'm not familiar
I'm
with.
not.
Maybe Bill is. We'll look it up
We'll
as
look
the
it up.
show
Yeah.
goes on. Mike Bonner, hello from Staten Island. Hi, Mike Bonner. Thank you for tuning in. Who else we got here? Okay, and the last one, Sandy Ridgway from Indiana. Hello, all the way from Indiana.
Hello,
What's up,
Sandy.
everybody, folks?
I even got my official Police Off the Cuff mug. I'm all set.
Yeah, man. I got my official police off the cuff vodka with club soda.
That's how long I've been a fan. I've got, I think, one of your original cups.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the original one. I still have those too. Those
Yeah.
are cool. All right. So without further ado, we're going to take you into a breaking news story that just happened tonight. In case you're not aware of it, actor Jussie Smollett from the TV show Empire was found guilty. And let's just bring this up and catch everybody up to this. Just happened, folks.
Right now, the jury has found actor Jussie Smollett guilty on at least 5 of 6 counts of charges against that he staged an anti-gay racist attack on himself nearly 3 years ago and then lied to Chicago police about it. We, of course, are going to be following this breaking news out of Chicago. We'll have the very latest on Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great.
So there you go. Hold on 1 second. There you go.
Yeah.
Jussie Smollett was found guilty of 5 out of the 6 charges. This was an interesting case. Dates back to what has it been, like, over a year now, right? Has
Yeah,
this all been going on?
it's been a while, and it's something that
Yeah, because it was in the middle of winter in Chicago. That was, one of Dave Chappelle's show. I'll show that clip in a second, but, it was in the middle of in the middle of winter in Chicago, and, it's just the whole thing seemed absurd, even at first.
I mean, you just think about the story. You've got two in the middle of Chicago. You've got two big white guys walking around with MAGA hats at what 3 in the morning by a
Uh
Subway sandwich shop, and and they just happen to have bleach and they happen to have a noose with them. I mean, it's I
You mentioned this before, because you said, like, what would make somebody do this? I don't know. It just, the whole thing just seems, especially because before we went on there, you mentioned all the stuff that he had going on. I mean, the guy is,
successful
he's a
show. I mean, he
successful
was
show. He's a singer.
and he was
He,
really an icon, and for the black gay community. And I mean, the guy was really an icon. I don't think he took his responsibility for the position he was in, to really keep himself out of a mess like this. And it's a shame because you know the guy was a rising star. I'm sure he had a lot of great things happening, but unfortunately, he's going to be saddled with this for the rest of his career. I'm glad he likes where the Subway sandwich shop is, because I don't think he'll be on the next TV show. I think he'll be behind the counter serving up sandwiches or something, because I can't imagine another production company picking this guy up. He's got too much baggage.
yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, and this, it all goes back to, what was that thing called, the Trump, the syndrome? What was that? Remember that term?
Uh,
It was when, just he was making people crazy. Trump, basically.
yeah, but that's
Trump deranged syndrome.
Trump deranged syndrome.
That's what. Do you remember when that was going around?
I
And
do. I
a
do.
lot of people lost jobs. Um, we had the lawyer during the riots, the George Floyd riots in New York City, threw a Molotov cocktail
Two of them.
at
Two
a
lawyers.
police van. Well,
Yeah.
the one was, I remember. I think it was a female, actually.
No,
The one I
there
remember.
was two lawyers, a
Oh,
male and a female. They both
okay,
got
yeah.
college.
Well,
And
yeah, that I just thought that was so, like, where do you get in a mental state where you're so unhinged that you could actually consider that, especially you're not even taking the chance to start thinking, okay, what are the repercussions? God forbid I do get caught doing something like this. I spent so many years in school. I have a job now. I have a profession.
yeah, you
It's
break your neck to become accomplished. And you think about this, like you have a platform as an attorney, you've got some power, you've got a voice. There's a million ways you could have used that positively to impact the change. And instead you get Molotov cocktails and throw it at a police van.
well,
I mean,
well, the story starts off with a letter that was sent to Empire, the TV show Empire, and apparently the letter was, it was filled with hate, and maybe they made, I think there was some death threats in the letter. So Empire went out and they hired security for him for 3 days. I don't think he was happy with what the TV show did for him, so he took it to another level, because during the course of the trial, the letter came up, and the prosecution was saying that he wrote the letter himself.
well, I think, from my understanding, the producers of the show wanted to do more security on the set, but they also offered him personal security, and he claimed he didn't want it. And,
Mhm.
you know, uh, yeah, I don't know what the real story is with that.
Well, because maybe this was part two of the whole thing, and if he had security around him all the time, he couldn't go through with phase two of his plan.
Well said, and
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we've done a lot of private security work. I've done a lot of work around celebrities and high net worth people, and who get threats on their lives, and they carry themselves a certain way. They rarely go out when they're threatened or they feel threatened on their own. Certainly at night by themselves. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, a sandwich shop, a Subway sandwich shop. Well, you know what's funny? Let's just show this. This kind of explains a lot of, like, what people were thinking at the time. I can't imagine anybody could nail it better than this. But
Absolutely. Chappelle nails it.
Yeah, he pretty much.
He nails it. That whole routine about it.
Yeah, well, I can't play the whole thing because I'm worried about copyright things. You're not supposed to play the whole an extended video. I'm not really sure the rules of it. I know it has to do with music. I know, you know who knows a lot about this? Mike Cologne. He got fucking knocked off of YouTube on a couple of different occasions for borrowing video. So we don't want that to happen. But if you're not a fan of Dave Chappelle, check out that video because it kind of sort of breaks it down, and it really shows you how just ridiculous the whole idea was. In the middle of the winter, 6 below, you're walking out to get a sandwich from Subway. An actor who's probably does have money in his pocket, could have probably ordered in. And then the whole thing with two white guys walking around once again in Chicago, a very blue city, wearing MAGA hats on, like the whole thing. But he stuck to his guns, and the whole what was that show? The Young Sheldon is based off of what show? When they were all in
The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory. They all came out and they had we support you. We back the whole. They made the whole crew come out, and every actor on it, all the backstage people, and they had this big sign, and it said, "We support you, Jussie." And yeah, it's.
But you know what? This is not dissimilar to when you had, with Ferguson, with Mike Brown, when, the whole, hands up, don't shoot. Everybody said that happened. And yet when they did the investigation, the feds came in, they talked to everybody, nobody said that happened. And, you had all the football players coming out and all the people on The View. And I mean, everybody, hands up, and all those symbols. And they later proved that was nonsense. And,
and people still believe it, though.
Because people want to grab that narrative and they want to believe it. I mean, there's, a lot of these things end up becoming fake. It's like, you think back, like, the whole thing about, Jussie Smollett. But I mean, you had even in the city when you had, the cops that abused Abdul Lawima in the 70th precinct, originally part of the narrative with that was that they all, Abdul Lawima allegedly claimed that when they attacked him, they said it's no longer Dinkins time, it's Giuliani time. And I mean, I was still a cop at the time, and every time we pulled out in a black neighborhood, everything was like, oh, it's Giuliani time, Giuliani. But when they went to the trial, Lawima said no, that really didn't happen, and but the narrative goes, people were saying it, and that happens a lot.
Who knows where that narrative came from? It could have been just a clever reporter at the time. We have a lot of clever reporters nowadays who, have been exposed. We didn't know any better back then. We had 3 news channels. We had ABC, CBS, NBC, and ABC. Fox channel. But it wasn't the way it is now. So separated. Now it's absurd. Now you can't get. People believe what they want to believe. I mean,
that's very true, Mark. And if you want to believe that someone did a bad thing, you're just more likely to believe it. It's like when you hear a bad thing about somebody you don't like, you tend to believe it. You don't give them that benefit of the doubt.
Well, here, I'll bring up an interesting story, another one for you, okay? Talk about people believing or what they want to believe. This is even everybody's like completely they don't know where this is coming from. Watch this.
Joining us now to continue this is Dov Hikind, former New York State Assemblyman, founder of Americans Against Anti-Semitism. And Dov, you just heard there what AOC said, and you heard the response immediately from Walgreens, who said she doesn't know what she's talking about. We've seen the stats. We show them on air all the time. We've spoken to people in law enforcement and in the district attorneys. Is she just not aware of what's going on, or does she not consider these crimes either seem to be a mistake?
AOC is out of control. I don't think she's living on this planet. Facts don't matter. She doesn't want to be confused with facts. All she's interested is defund the police, close the prisons down, defund the prisons. I think it's time to defund AOC. She's a danger. I really think she's a danger. These crimes that are being committed, there are real victims out there. The bail reform that she supports, where criminals walk out before the police officer finishes the paperwork. It's ridiculous, causing new victims out there. It is really out of control. And I think AOC, Republicans are speaking out on this. Where are people from my Democratic Party? Are they blind? Maybe AOC is blind. Clearly, she doesn't see it. Where are the others in the Democratic Party to stand up and defend the innocent people of this country who are being victimized by criminals?
As you noticed there, right? What do you see? What are they playing in the background? They're playing smash and grab robberies. This is becoming a phenomenon across the country, and there is hundreds of videos right now, I would imagine, probably thousands on the internet, that if just by accident, you could just looking up anything online right now, you could run into it. How does this woman not know what's actually going on? Does she? I don't know. Does she think this is staged?
You know what? I just think it's like anything else. It goes against the narrative that she's trying to support. So, she'll discount it. I mean, I hear politicians and, like Jen Psaki saying things like, oh, the crime is going up because of COVID. Like, crime isn't going up because of COVID. Crime is going up because you're letting criminals stay on the street. When we kept them in jail, you had less crime. There's no deterrent. And I mean, you watch the videos. I mean, and I think people were discounting it when it was happening during the riots. But now this is not happening during the riots. Now this is, groups going into stores or pulling up to shopping districts, getting out of cars, or running in groups. And I think this is going to be the next big crime thing. I mean, for years when I was in street crime, hello Pete Pranzo, I know you're out there, my old Boston street crime. We had the Wolfpack robberies running around Midtown where they run down and grab everybody and grab purses. And I think this is kind of a the new version of that, where they're going to run and hit stores. And it's a shame, but nobody's getting locked up for it. And police make arrests in these cases. DAs aren't prosecuting it. I mean, look at San Francisco. I mean, it's just a mess, and nobody is locking people up. Well, I think Los Angeles is going to get rid of their DA or recall him.
Well, okay, let's go back to there was the smash and grab robberies. There was just one where the security guard in LA got sprayed with bear spray.
Bear spray, yeah.
Yeah, I had the video. I thought I had the video, but I don't. Damn it. But it's really scary to see. Obviously, bear spray has to be a whole lot stronger than regular pepper spray. And he struggles once he gets hit with it. He struggles, to get his balance. He's getting up. He's in a Macy's. He's running into everything that's on display there. He's running into, just trying to catch his breath. And it was somebody in a hood, with a hoodie over, with a mask on. Another smash and grab robbery, and it's crazy that even the mayor of the governor of California wants to start some sort of team initiative, or using the FBI to investigate these things. But what's the point if your bail reform is only going to let these people back out to do some more robberies?
Well,
in the meantime,
Mark, you make an excellent point. And even during the riots, like we talked about the two lawyers that were locked up in Brooklyn, all these arrests that were being made by the federal government. The other one was putting people in were the feds. ATF was locking people for burning things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it takes that, because the federal law enforcement, I think, is not as easy to manipulate by local politicians. But with that said, there's only so many federal agents. It takes the police department doing it.
But you don't need federal agents. You just need the police to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
They're sworn in to do. You need the court systems to do what they're sworn in to do. One of the big problems right now is I'm trying to think. I think it's in L.A. where they're saying, like you said, the district attorney there, he's not doing what he was sworn in to do.
Yeah, he's fighting with the local sheriff. They're talking about recalling him, and they'll probably get a recall vote. But I mean, are they going to unseat him? That remains to be seen. But I mean, I watch him on his interviews, and he's just like, they asked him point blank, "Do you feel your policies are affecting this?" And he's like, "No."
They're
I mean,
oblivious.
you know what? I got to tell you, I think having interviewed a lot of very bad guys in my life,
Mhm.
you get that one guy that's a sociopath, and you can bring him in there, and you can confront him with all the evidence, and he's just like, "It's not me. I didn't do
Well,
it."
think about this. A lot of these DAs are funded. They get nominated and they get on the ballot and they get the seat because they're funded by George Soros. And
Yeah,
his mission is to get all these district attorneys who are, we see them popping up. Look, they're all have one thing in common. They're probably funded by this guy, and he doesn't care who wins. He just wants to disrupt America, destroy America, and this is a result of actually when you have this money coming in, an abundance of money coming in. So that's another thing that needs to be scrutinized and figured out, like, how are we going to do this? Because if you have one person funding and they're going to put a campaign up where you don't even know who the contender is because
yeah.
that they don't have as much money to compete
Well,
with
there's
this
way too
person.
much money in politics, and unfortunately, you can. I won't say flat out buy an election, but you can certainly rent it for reasonable prices. I mean, it boils down to if you can't fundraise and get the money, you can't really be a competitive candidate, no matter if it's a local city council seat or an assembly seat or it's a Congress seat or a Senate seat, or it takes money to make it happen. And unfortunately, I think they make a lot of deals, and they make deals with guys like Soros. And believe me, there's Soros, and there's a lot of guys out there like Soros where they're putting their money out there to
But
make
that's
deals.
what he does. He's a
Yeah,
brilliant guy, and he's fun. He bankrolls the campaigns of these district attorneys who are going to basically do whatever he wants. And one of them, we see it popping up all over the
we do.
country. I want to just give it up for Peter Prenzo. It's got to be a combination. Return to bail. Yes, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Mandatory sentences for violent offenders and gun possessions. And that's funny the way things work is like, you push things to a certain limit. And now it seems like with the 2022 elections coming up for Congress and Senate and all those seats that are up, it seems like a lot of these Democrats that want to hold on to their seats are backtracking from. They started backtracking from defund the police. Nobody wants to be associated with that anymore, But now nobody is really talking about addressing the big problem, and the bail reform. This guy that ran over all those people at the Christmas Day parade in Winkosha. This guy was supposed to be locked up. He wasn't supposed to be on the street. It was a domestic violence case. He tried to run over uh, his companion.
Girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have been on the street. And this is the result of that. And these people, they don't. I don't understand
Well,
why.
that's what happens, Mark. I mean, you think about it like with this guy. I mean, you think about cop killers. I mean, most guys who end up going on to kill cops, they're usually out of jail for some other case. You know, you don't go right to the top of the food chain like that. Usually, you've worked your way up to doing things, and I think that's why you have bail. That's why you have pretrial. You've got people confined, and I mean, listen. I'm not saying the system didn't need tweaking. I'm not saying it didn't need refining, but the baby got thrown out with the bathwater here, and now nobody's staying in. I mean, why did crime go up? At least in New York City. Well, a lot of it was bail enforcement. It's also, Mayor Bozo, emptied Rikers Island out. I mean, how do you empty the pool?
I'll show you. Before we go, I just want to give it up to Margaret Hearn. 100% Mark. Destruction of America in every aspect. Destroy culture, family units, rules of society, and rewrite history and everything in America's fault. Yes, I agree with you. I want to show you something right now. We talk about bail reform. We talk about the just the fact that a lot of people don't realize this, so they don't want to look into it. But a lot of times when these people get arrested, they suffer from mental illness, and they get
Absolutely.
off the street. for a little while, and if they can't make bail, they're going to clean up. I've seen people that were on death's door, crackheads, drug addicts, go away for a little while, come back. It's like a brand new person. They get off of drugs, they get cleaned up, they get back on their meds. This is not happening right now. They don't care about these people. And here's a perfect example of somebody with a mental illness out on the street with nothing to do. And this is what he comes up with, okay?
Christmas tree just across the street from us here at 30 Rock was set on fire. The suspect immediately taken down by police, and tonight the network is expressing outrage. Overnight, cameras capturing nearly every moment of a Christmas crime that lit up Midtown Manhattan. The Fox News Christmas tree set ablaze outside the company's headquarters. Primetime host Shannon Bream showing viewers live.
It appears that our giant Christmas tree there just a couple minutes ago was completely engulfed in flames.
Tourists and workers in the area shooting cell phone videos as the 50-foot structure known as the All-American Christmas tree turned into an inferno. Many of the 10,000 glass ornaments and 100,000 lights that make up the decor melting, sending plumes of black smoke into the sky. Police quickly taking down the alleged arsonist, Fox describing the man as, quote, tinsel torching suspect Craig Tamanaha, 49 years old.
The motive, I don't think, is clear at this point. It's an individual.
The motive
that's
is
known
he's
to us.
crazy.
He has a series of low-level arrests, some drug arrests. He was issued earlier this year, some appearance tickets and didn't come back to court, which unfortunately is something we see all too often. He also
Surprise.
has out of state.
Investigators say he climbed the metal superstructure, lit papers he brought with him on fire, and shoved the papers into the tree.
It's beginning to look a lot like arson.
Fox News morning anchors waking up to the charred display outside their offices.
Who sets a Christmas tree on fire?
It's a tree that unites us, that brings us together. It's about the Christmas spirit. It is about the
Wow, that, you know.
It's beginning to look a lot like arson. Oh my God! As a
great.
former Arson Explosion guy, I got to tell you, I love it.
Well,
now here's the thing: is this guy going to need a defense guy? Because I'd love to be able to help him out a little bit. Give me a call, or have his lawyer give me a call.
But here's a guy. Here's a homeless guy who's in the street. He's obviously crazy. He's nuts. He probably okay. You're going to spend some time in the street. You can't always be locked up. But usually it's the smaller crimes that get you a couple of days, get you cleaned up, a clear head, then you go back out, and it's another smaller crime that brings you in. But this is a guy with way too much time on his hands. He's probably been out. There's so many homeless people in New York City right now that haven't seen a jail cell, haven't had a chance to clean up, haven't had 3 squared meals a day, haven't had a chance for somebody to ask them, what medication are you on? Get back on your meds. They're just being left out there to die.
Well, and this guy, like you heard the commissioner say, he's been locked up several times and got his desk appearance tickets, or we used to call it disappearance tickets because they disappear. You'd have to go find them in the warrant squad and give them the knock. Hear Mark's routine, you'll appreciate that. But I mean, what are you going to do with these guys? They don't stay in. I mean, you think about how many times they're grabbing guys. These guys are lighting a tree on fire. We're also seeing all these homeless guys pushing people on subways. I mean, it's really out of control. I mean, I don't know how they're going to handle that. It's really just, what do you do with them? You know what I mean? It's not that I want to see the mental ill people put into a prison, but I also don't want to see them on the streets pushing people into subway cars or.
But a lot of these mental illness people are on some type of medication that they're not getting right now, and they're not going to get the chance to be reminded, hey, you're supposed to be on medication. They're not going to get a chance to see a doctor. They're just left on their own out there until something bad happens, and it happens every single day here,
all the time.
Every single day. I'll show you something else. This is life in New York City right here. Where is this guy? I don't know if this is it. Let me see. There he goes. Man with a wooden dagger threatens woman in New York City. Okay, so if you're not from New York, we have a fantastic subway system, but unfortunately, it's riddled by individuals like this. Like this guy is the guy who gets the subway car, all to himself. Because you walk in, you can see he's yawning right there. He's tired. He's thinking of something, and whatever he's thinking about, it's probably not about good thoughts. And he's got not one but two sticks on him, and they're in the shape of a dagger, and then he's threatening people. And this is an ongoing occurrence in New York City. If you have to take the subway, that you see every day. That, like I said, that guy gets the car to himself, because as soon as you walk in there and you see that crazy person, you're like, all right, I'm going to take the next car.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I mean, I don't take the subway that frequently, thank goodness. But my family all do, going back and forth to work and school. And
I don't take the subway either. You know why? Because I'm 6'4", 250 pounds, and every time I get on the subway car, everybody thinks, "Oh, good, they can fall asleep now because I'm there to protect them." No, I'm just trying to get from point A to point B.
Gotta go to work. Yeah,
I'm gonna stare at this corner right here and hope nothing happens. I'm as scared as you are.
I mean, as it's getting colder now, what happens? All the homeless, they end up in subway stations and subway cars to stay warm. And I mean, I get it, but they're doing the best they can to try to clean them out of the subway. But what do? You push them back upstairs. It was the old joke where the transit cops would kick them upstairs, we kick them back downstairs to transit. And what do you do with them? You can move them around. And it's amazing to me is how many hotels now in the city. They used to be like legit hotels, now are becoming shelters or partially becoming shelters. And a lot of that happened because of COVID, where, they weren't getting tourists coming into the city anymore. The only way they could, I guess, fill rooms is to rent them out to the city for homeless. I mean, it's
the Upper West Side in Manhattan was always shitty. It was a shithole. And then because they had a lot of SROs, those were single room occupancies. And then they got rid of them. And the neighborhood started thriving. And then pandemic hit. And like you said, the tourists weren't coming anymore. So they took all those hotels. And what did they turn them into? Single room occupancy.
Yeah.
And now, good luck trying to walk around up there. Right. And what was and Dave, the dog. Maybe they can put in old school buildings and vacant churches. May stay closed. Its last mental hospital. They put people who've been there for years on the street. I can't help thinking a lot of it has to do with budgets. They want to spend the money on other things, and a lot of budgets, city budgets, state budgets are top heavy with police and corrections. And they just want to be able to play with their money and do other things with it. And that's why they don't care about this.
Well, what it is. I mean, how much money can you throw at this problem? Because, I mean, you think about this, like, first off, look at what rents are in New York City for legitimate people trying to get, a single room bedroom or a studio. I mean, even if you started setting up places for homeless people to live, a lot of these guys, because of mental health issues or drug addiction, they wouldn't be able to maintain it, even if you gave them the apartment.
But they just want a place to put their stuff. I think everybody should have a place to put their stuff. Look at Flatbush BK. Put them on Roosevelt Island. I agree with you 100%, Flatbush. This has been my idea forever. You can go back to past shows. I've said this. Roosevelt Island, clear it out. Put the homeless people there. Build 100 of these buildings. It's single room occupancy. They got a key. They got a place they can put their stuff in, lay their head if they want to. If they want to be on the street, whatever. But people need a place to keep their stuff. And we spend a lot of money, we get a lot of money for homeless. We get a lot of money for drug treatment. We never, ever see where the money goes. That would be a great idea, because you could see where the money goes. You could see the buildings. You could see the the huge fence that we build up there. We could see the drawbridge that they have to be there by 9 o'clock. That's that's Ward's Island has
Ward's
the drawbridge.
Island. Ward's Island.
If you're not on Ward's Island by 9 o'clock, they got the
That's it.
drawbridge, and that's it.
It's almost like in Batman with Arkham Asylum. You close the bridge and you police.
That's it, man.
You can
That's
leave the
it. We
police
need
boats
bridges.
driving around. But
I agree with you, Emre and Dave and the dog. They need more help with mental issue. Mental health is a big problem in this country that we're not addressing.
Well, you
how
know,
how many people are functional and have mental illness?
well, I mean, you talk about money, and you have the mayor our mayor De Blasio talk about defunding the police and putting the money into other things. But I mean, where the hell did that $800 million that his wife got for mental health treatment and program, and that's gone. No one knows where that is. So it's not like the money isn't being spent. It's just probably not being spent in a way that's accountable. I mean, one of the interesting things when you watch the police department, and it's a big bureaucracy and there's a lot of things we don't do well. But I mean, in terms of accountability, in terms of money, like you can have them come in and say, this is how many people we have working for us. Here's where the money goes. Here's where it's spent. A lot of the other city agencies can't do that. I mean, I remember years ago, one of the hearings in the city council, they had the education commissioner on, and they asked them, how many people work for you? How much are you spending for this? And they couldn't give an answer. And they were saying, the police commissioner was here last week and could give us those answers. Why can't you? And they're like,
K.H. Walker, my brother has schizophrenia and committed suicide when he lost his apartment by jumping 14 stories. There, but you have the grace of God, go I. And that's exactly my sentiment. I think that these people need a place to keep their stuff. A lot of them are homeless temporarily. A lot of them are suffering from mental illness, and help is right around the corner. But we have to really put forth a legitimate effort to help them. We can't just say we're helping them and then we don't know where the money goes.
Yeah, well, that's my point with the De Blasio administration. They $800 million to mental health, but where is it? I mean, they're saying the problem is worse than that. Where's that money go? And they're running around doing investigations on everything. I kind of like to see a little investigation on where that money went. But
Margaret O'Hearn, she says she used to see Bernie Getz with his pet squirrel at First Avenue somewhere. Oh yeah, the Lower East Side. Yeah, Bernie Getz.
Bernie Getz.
There's another Bernie Getz. There's another Bernie Getz. Yeah, there's another one coming right around the corner.
There is.
Hey, where is that people? Is a person from Nashville still here? This is pretty cool. I want to show this.
By the way, B4 was it B40? B40 asked me if I worked in Brooklyn. Yes, I was a cop in the 6-6 for a while, the 7-8. Then I went to Zone Topac, and then I went to Citywide Unit Street Crime, and then I came back and did Brooklyn Narcotics, and then just Arson and Explosion. Just to answer your question.
The person from Nashville. I want to show you something. Well, this is pretty cool. Watch this. Look at this.
Hi, Princess Fish.
This is the quickest draw you'll ever see. The sound starts in about a second. This is a car accident, by the way. He's just going there to help the people in the car accident.
I got it. Hey, just leave that stuff in there, man. Just go ahead and go. Go ahead and go, man. Stop! 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 Just sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
We got to go back. Just see how quick a drawer he is. Watch this. Watch. Look at. Watch.
Hey, just leave that stuff in there, man. Just go ahead and go. Go ahead and go, man. Stop! Stop! Stop!
He saw a gun. He saw a gun on the dashboard. Well, he saw. Did you see how quick he was on the draw?
Yeah.
There? I mean, you can't. It's a flash. The quickest draw. That's in Tennessee, by the way. Do you think that guy practices?
Hell, a lot more than I do. I can
Do
tell
you
you.
think he practices a little bit? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it was so smooth. You didn't even see it. His hands were on the dash, on the car like this, and he goes step back, and within 1 second, because there was a gun right on the dashboard, that guy wanted to take with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? I mean, can you imagine that happening in a place like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco? You know, they'd.
That's Tennessee.
Yeah, but I'm saying if
In
that
Nashville.
happened, you know, you got a
Either
place like
way, listen. I mean, if the guy has a permit for the gun, it's a big problem. But the guy should have said, "Hey, I left my gun on the dashboard." Obviously, somebody who's just going to retrieve the gun knows that if the gun gets caught, I'm going to be in trouble with it. Let me just try and take it. Hopefully, the cop doesn't see it. But the cop saw it. He obviously saw it right up front. That's why he said, "Get away. Just go. Keep going. We'll figure this out later." And he didn't want. Did you hear him screaming back there? Oh, oh! I love that scream. That makes me happy. Little things like that make me so happy. Do you want to replay that? I can replay that.
Why not?
Let's see what's going on here. So scary for officers today. Yeah, that's a car accident that happened. That was a car accident. He's called a school resource officer. He's in, he works in a school. He's at the end of tour. He's driving back to his base to change to go home. He sees a car accident. He stops to help. You see the EMS guy pulling a body out. All he's there to do is to help. And then this guy, Paul Velasco, says Jussie Smollett guilty. Yeah, we covered that, Paul, right in the beginning of the show. But thanks for tuning in. Maybe we'll end on that as well. That officer is your Huckleberry. Yeah, very mental, Erica. I'm your Huckleberry.
I love that movie.
The cop did tell him to go. You're right. Yeah, it's crazy. That story's crazy, man. He was so fast with that.
I got to tell you, I've worked with guys, who practice, who are like that. I mean, I'm not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, listen, I'll write the reports. I'll talk. I'm a better talker to people.
People always say, why do we have to shoot, in the center mass instead of just shooting in the leg or the arm? And I always tell them the average cop can't hit the side of a barn. Do you really want him trying to aim for a leg or an arm?
God, I'm not a great shot. I mean, you go to the range.
I was okay.
I mean, it's like anything else. I remember one time our mutual friend John Mulrooney and I, we were in Pennsylvania, and I don't know if you ever shot with John. John's an amazing shot.
No, I didn't know that.
And yeah, he's really very good. And he looked at me. He's like, and he wasn't a cop yet. He was just a civilian. He's like, you shoot like that, and you're a cop. What'd you have to do if you hit somebody? I'm like, and I thank God I never had to shoot a human being. I shot a dog, but that bit my lieutenant, but that was it. I never had to shoot somebody, but
yeah, me neither. Me neither.
That's the thing too. People think cops shoot. You know how rare it is for a cop to shoot somebody. It's a great myth that cops shoot people all the time.
I know, and it's I always lie and tell people that I did shoot somebody because otherwise you just became really boring. People always ask you that. They're always like, "Hey, man, did you ever shoot anybody?" And as soon as you say no, they just walk away like disappointed.
It's funny. Not funny, but when I was in narcotics, I was doing a warrant in Brooklyn, and to condense a very long story, the guy went in. He killed himself. He literally picked up a gun and blew his chest out in front of me, and I was cleared of everything. But in the newspapers, all it said was, this is the dog shooting thing. He bit my lieutenant. The dog came in. I shot the dog, chased the guy, and he ended up shooting himself. And in the newspapers, it had all this about, I shot my gun and this guy is dead. So they didn't say I shot him, but they insinuated that I did. So when I kept telling people I didn't kill anybody, they're like, "Hey, what about that guy in Brooklyn?" I'm like, it's and it's funny. My mother even watched the TV and saw, you shot that guy. I'm like, and it tells you how quickly people's opinions of you would change, And
MC Audio says, please check my super chat. We got your super chat, Mark. MC Audio, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Mike. He put a $1.99 back into the super chat. And you didn't have to do that, man. You're a good kid, bro. I love you, man.
He's the
Let's see
best.
what else we got. Real with Robo.
Check it out.
If y'all shot in the leg or the arm, they cry that shit too. Oh my God, they shot him in the arm. Tried to make him disabled. Just shoot him where you have to, when you have to. I love this guy. Real with Robo. That's a great. Just shoot him where you have to, when you have to. Flatbush BK, another rapper, Slim 400, shot and killed in Los Angeles. I didn't hear about that. I got to check that out. I hope he wasn't a very good rapper, because we need them.
Do we?
Rachel, factual breakdown. Rachel Prazo, her parents are gone. I don't know what this is about. Her brother evicted. All right, that's a private chat that got going in the private chat.
Hey, Rochella.
Is that how you say it? I can never say it. I would say Raquella. Let's see what else. I got other stuff here, man. Other goodies for you. Let's see what this one is. Okay, handcuffing police response creating a local mental health crisis. If you aren't aware of this, in Washington State, what has happened is that they want to, in order to use force in Washington State, you have to be able to prove, I don't know how you can do this on the spot, probable cause that this person had committed a crime. The problem is when you call somebody, when you call 911 because your loved one who is suffering from a mental illness is going crazy in your house right now and you need help and you're in fear, at that point there is no probable cause for a crime. So you're going to send police officers over there, and it's not a crime. They didn't commit a crime. They're not going to be able to really function. So the sheriff's department over there said, we're not going to set our police officers over there for any mental health cases, because God forbid it goes awry, they're not going to be able to do anything.
Well, you keep hearing too that so many jurisdictions now, they want to have some kind of mental health professional, respond to these EDP or emotionally disturbed people cases. And my whole thing is this: first off, to bring in somebody with that kind of education and background, I don't imagine what you'd have to pay them. And what
They don't get paid all that much.
No,
it's a $50-$60 an hour job.
Okay,
but they put a vest on them, but they did it in New York, in the 2.8 to 2.5, and what they found out was they get to cherry pick their cases. Thank you, our bad. NYPD using body cams, pro accounts. Thanks. He gave us $1.99 super chat. We'll come back to it 1 second, but just on my point, which was I forget now that I read that.
The mental health responders in Harlem.
Yeah, well, what happens is they get a chance to cherry pick their cases, and out of let's say 100 cases, they went to 50 of them, and the other 50, who's going to handle them? The cops are going to have to go. Real Robo, $5 super chat. I'm a female in Tennessee. We support our cops, not our criminals. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all come work here. We have apartments where I live. All right. Thank you so much for inviting us. That's hey, listen, it sounds nice over there, Tennessee. I went there to 800-Pound Gorilla. It was my they're the ones responsible for recording my album, and they're in Nashville. Yeah. And they have a nice place there. Or a bad NYPD using body cams, pro or con. I think the body cams actually wound up helping the police. I don't know about you.
I got to tell you, here's how I feel about the body cameras. If they use them for everything to protect everybody, I think cops would be better with it. What do I mean by this? Like if you go out and you say, hey, this Officer Ryan beat me up, or Officer Ryan did this, and you make a complaint, and now we pull the tape and you show that I didn't do that, what's my recourse as a cop? I mean, I have to sit there and just take it. It goes on my record.
Can we sue now? I think a law came out that we can sue.
They say they're going to sue, but the reality is, most of these guys are, nickel and dime street guys. What are you going to sue them for? Their shoelaces.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what I mean, yeah, you can sue that one guy who, 5 years from now he'll win the lottery, or his great aunt will leave him a house or something. But I mean, the majority of these guys, there's nothing to do with it. I mean, I'd like to see people, like, if you're going to do that and make that, lock them up at least. You know, there's not enough of that. I mean, I remember there was a, you know, there was a restaurant I used to write tickets for all the time in Brooklyn. The guy used to make complaints all the time that I was doing this, and I'd never met him. Then I went to Mardi Gras, and I was gone for a week. And I guess whoever was writing the tickets there, he kept making complaints. And when I went to CCRB for it, I'm like, here you go, my tickets, my my hotel, you know.
Oh, he was still making complaints that you were
He
writing
was still
something?
saying I was doing this, and I wasn't even in New York. You know, and I mean, a lot of times you're accused falsely of abuse or discourtesy, and I think these tapes would bear you out. I think the body cams have shown a lot of times that this isn't the case, and I think a lot of people thought, you know, this is going to cut down on police doing the bad thing. If you know you're being recorded, then I guess you would probably be less likely.
A long time ago, when I used to work with this guy, and he used to do when I was in the task force, he used to do the speed camp with the radar. And every single time that he pulled the car over, he would do it like this with his shirt and go, "I just I'm so and so, I'm Officer so and so from this unit. I just want to advise you that all our conversation is being recorded right now." And he wasn't recording anything, but the idea was that it was going to change the person's attitude, knowing that they were being recorded. But unfortunately, right now, it doesn't work anymore. I don't think anybody's. Most people are used to being filmed or on camera. They're not shy about it. And the reality is, even with the body cam on you, you probably remember that you have the body cam on you for the first 10 seconds. And then you really become yourself. And you could see that unfold in a lot of videos, the way even officers talk to people after the first 15 seconds. They forget. Let's see what this. Okay. We're going to go quick here. We don't have a lot of time. New York is back. This was the type of cases I used to investigate. Chinese food delivery worker attacked with a brick, kick in the face, New York City robbery.
Terrible.
This happens in New York City on a daily basis. These Chinese, they call for Chinese food, and then they meet them in the projects in the hallway there, and they tune them up. They take the food, whatever money they have in their pocket, and you know, those that's like the typical. I was investigating robberies and burglaries, so when I saw that story, I was like, nothing's changed. And you know what? That delivery guy, God bless him. After that beating that he takes there, even getting hit with a brick, you know what he does? He gets back on his bike and he gets the next delivery. And the reason why I know this, because try interviewing that guy. Try finding him. You go to the Chinese place. You're like, yeah, I just heard your delivery guy got robbed. Yeah, he's okay. He's on another delivery. Okay. When's he coming back? Tell him to come back. I got to talk to him.
Yeah,
they don't have time for you.
Yeah, well, you know, they haven't got health insurance, so they're not going to go to the hospital. And, you know, they still got to make their living. And you know, it's so bad. Like, you know, it's one thing to take the guy's stuff, you know, to tune him up with a rock. I mean, that's, you know,
yeah, they hit him in the head with
a you know, I mean, these guys will give you the stuff, you know, you gotta beat the tar out of them like that. I mean, you know,
but. And we wouldn't be remiss. And with all this stuff going on all around the country, right? All this, these crimes, the smash and grab robberies that we covered, this guy pretending like he got robbed, all these different things where law enforcement is actually showing their face as they're there to help you. We get this California eatery. This is in San Francisco. Kicking out cops for safe space was a mistake. So what happens is you have a store manager in this eatery in San Francisco, 3 cops that are on a footpost somewhere there, probably protecting stores that are there from smash and grab. They need a place to eat for lunch. They go inside this place, and they're asked to leave. Why? Because whoever this cocksucker is, who's the manager at the time, it starts complaining, oh, the people in here don't feel safe. Did you go take a poll? You went up to every table and asked them if they feel safe? No. You took it upon yourself because you're a fucking asshole. And then once the owners found out, because not only did this person ask the officers to leave, and this is not the first time this has happened. This happened plenty of times all around the country.
Absolutely.
You leave one of these knuckleheads in charge, and they want to like tell cops they can't eat here or not, whatever. Starbucks is notorious for this. These people, they posted it on Instagram. Look at what I just did. I just told these cops they can't eat here. And then the owners found out after tremendous backlash. So there's 3 owners apparently. They got together. One of the owners originally backed up them and says, well, you know, these cops, they come in there, they have a lot of weapons on them. Okay, you can see the weapon. What about all the people that come in there with concealed carry that you have no idea they have a weapon on them? Whatever. That's a different point. They're just on a high. They want to ask cops. They want to be able to abuse cops. That's what they want to do.
I know.
So now these 3 owners backpedaled and they said, no. You're more than welcome to come in here.
Yeah, but Mark, they're backpedaling because they're getting all kinds of social media backlash. And people aren't coming in. You know, they're not really, you know, they're not remorseful. Or they're not saying, you know, our guys did the wrong thing here. They're like, wow, we're losing a lot of money here. And, you know, I just can't understand a business doing that. I mean, most businesses want cops in there, you know, to protect them. You know, you want to be a place that's known for the police to come because bad guys are less likely to come there. And your customers usually feel safer because you see a police car in the parking lot or you see a cop in there. And, you know, I could see some establishments where, you know, maybe you own the place. This kid that you hired took it upon himself. But I mean, you know, that's not the case with a lot of these places. I mean, I'm just so sick of it when these, you know, but, you know, we got to vote with our wallets. You know, if places are doing that, like you mentioned, Starbucks, you know, don't patronize the place. I mean, it kills me when I see a cop walking around with a Starbucks cup. I mean, are you kidding me? These people don't watch.
Yeah. I know.
You
I don't
know?
get it either, man. I don't listen. I'm retired 10 years. I don't unless that's the only place to get a cup of coffee. I'm not going to get a cup.
You know, when I lived in New York, there's always the place to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I'm on the
Right.
road doing a gig and I have to stop somewhere, and you know,
Right. And listen, if it's the only game in town, it's the only game in town. But I mean, people like you and I that live in places like New York City where there's 100 different options, you know.
Listen, on my block, there's a Starbucks. There's now another place, Mata opened up. It's an espresso shop, but they're going to have to compete with the other espresso shop on the corner and the bagel place that always serves coffee. This all on one block. And I just don't understand. Like, are they money laundering? How much coffee are we actually drinking that we need 4, not including the diner on the corner where you could actually get coffee too?
It could coffee,
which is probably the cheapest one, by the way.
You
Well,
know what?
man, we covered a lot of stuff, Bill. Oh my God, we
certainly
went
did.
quick. We went fast. Let's see. Before we close it down, let's see. Let's
Hello,
go back
Joey
in
Brooklyn. Who else haven't I said hello to?
M. Ray and the Dave the dog. They can't find social workers to help little kids. They want to send one to domestic violence calls. I know. I agree with you 100%. What else we got here? I Baywatch. Every time I see a cop, it's like, what ticket now? All right. What were you doing?
Exactly right.
He says, no, I can't eat because this guy, I don't know who this guy is. Every time I see, I have coffee, real with Robo. I have coffee always, and my hubby is a Marine, and we got divine intervention to help us. I love NYPD. Thank you so much. Breaking news, K.H. Walker, Jussie Smollett found guilty by the jury. Guess what, K.H. Walker? If you would have been here on time, we opened with that story.
Yeah, I hope you have a note for being late.
Thanks for tuning in. Single Mama 4. Thanks, Mark, for having Bill on. Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Single Mama 4.
Bill's a ground ball.
Thank you, MC Audio.
What do you got going on, Bill?
Bro, I'm busy than ever. You know, it's I do a lot of investigative work and process serving and a lot of defense work, believe it or not. And once the court started opening back up again, I'm running around 6-7 days a week now, so I'm nuts. So hopefully it'll keep going. But
no, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. That,
thanks.
God bless you.
It was tough for a while. You know, I was worried for a while. Thank goodness it came back. You know, I was going to start knocking on Joe Murray's door and say, "Give me some work."
Yeah, man. Maybe I'm going to knock on your door, ask you to get me some work.
We live close enough together. Just come back to the block.
I know. We could have done this. You could have done this in my apartment.
Next time.
But you wouldn't have fit in here. We would have had to sit outside.
Or next time we'll do it in a coffee shop.
Factual breakdown. Thank you so much for tuning in. Princess Mitch, Nice to see Bill live. Thank you.
You know, it's
Single
funny.
Mama
There's so many
4.
folks out there that I see them on different chat groups that we're in, and and I never get to see them. So,
Thank
and
you,
my
everybody.
icon is my company logo, so they don't see a picture of me. So, hi everybody, and I'm sure I'm much scarier in person, but
Nah, you think you look good, Bill. You're keeping
hi to
it
my
together.
friends Pete and Rochelle again. Pete
best.
really launched my career many times. I always give him all the credit because he made it happen for me. So thank you, Pete.
He's a great guy.
He is.
Thanks, Mark, for having Bill on Single Mama 4. I just want to make sure I covered everybody. K.H. Walker breaking. Oh yeah, we did that already.
Hi to my wife.
Okay,
Elizabeth.
folks. So what can I tell you? This was a great episode. We went fast, man. We covered a lot of stuff. I mean, if I go through the Los Angeles cop, Blart cop.
Well, right before we came on, literally the Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett, the Los Angeles cop, the mall cop, the Blart that got bear sprayed, AOC.
What about I wanted to come with the
Chinese
Santa
delivery
thing.
robber. Oh, we didn't do the Santa thing.
Yeah.
Where's the Santa picture? I didn't put the Santa picture up? Damn it.
Well, Jesse
in Colorado, they got in trouble, the sheriff's department, because they took a picture of Santa putting in for a concealed carry permit. They've had over 500,000. No, what was it? 100,000? 100,000?
A lot. I don't remember the number.
No, 50,000. I'm all over the place. 50,000 carrier permits they've already done this year, and they have another 4,000. They're 4,000 behind. That's in Colorado, folks. So if you want to concealed carry, move to Colorado.
Yeah, try getting one in New York. We have them as retired cops, but
now they're in court. I think they're going to lose that battle. I think they already lost that battle with how tough they make it to get a concealed carry permit in New York. So I know they were in court with it. I forget the outcome, but that's a thing of the past. Let me just see this one last thing. Yeah, we covered that already. All right, we did it all, Bill. We covered it all.
All right, good.
And you were great, by the way.
A pleasure.
How do I get this thing off the fucking thing? I don't know if I can do that. Shit, because I deleted it.
Well, while you're doing that, Ryan Investigative Group, we're on the net. We're on Facebook. If you have a problem, give us a call. We do all kinds of investigative work, help you find a loved one, missing persons. We're on all kinds of social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, RyanInvestigators.com. So give us a yell. We can help you. Certainly like to.
If you're in Pennsylvania, in the Poconos, Friday night, I'll be at the Pocono Palace performing there, headlining there. And on Saturday, I'll be at the Comedy Cove, also in Pocono. In the Poconos, both of those places are couples resorts. They're a lot of fun to go and attend. And if you're out there, please come and visit. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Thank you, Bill Ryan.
Thank you, Mark.
And we can't wait to have you back again.
Well, I can't wait to see you perform live again. If you haven't seen him, folks, Mark is an amazing stand-up comic. He does great job out there. He's a pleasure to see. So when he's coming to an area, please go and check him out. You won't be disappointed. It's excellent.
That's very nice. Very nice of you to say that. Thank you, Raquel, for saying great show. Come to Rhode Island to the Comedy Connection. I'll come out to see your show. I will there. I'm on my way. I can't wait to do it.
We got to get all the guys together, cops comedy, and try to do a show together.
2 days, 2 cents. Thanks, Ryan, for your info. All good overall. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll be back on the 13th. We got Wilbur Chapman coming in. That's going to be a great episode. I'm really excited about that one too. He was
going to be a great show.
All right, thank you, everybody. Peace out. Enjoy the weekend.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for watching.